Welcome to the Depth Dive. Today we are jumping right into what is, I think, the biggest debate in AI.
Oh, for sure.
Are large language models, LLMs, a real path to AGI, or are they just a dead end, just a fancy autocomplete?
Right. And you see these two camps, don't you? One side says, just keep scaling, just more compute, and AGI will emerge.
And the other side dismisses them completely.
Exactly. They say they're just mere pattern matchers, that they're structurally incapable of any real reasoning. But our sources today suggest that's a false choice.
Okay, a fun dichotomy. I'm interested. So let's unpack this third position they're putting forward. It's built on an idea called substrate plus coordination. So what does that actually mean for how we should be looking at models like GPT-4 or Claude?
It means we should see the LLM as the essential System 1 substrate.
The substrate,
Yeah.
so the foundation.
Yeah, think of it as the vast, unconscious library of patterns. It's absolutely necessary, but it's not enough on its own.
So what's it missing?
It's missing the System 2 coordination layer. That's the part that's needed to bind all those raw patterns to, specific goals and real-world constraints.
I love the metaphor they use here. It really clarifies it. They compare it to fishing.
Right.
So the LLM is the ocean, this huge body of latent patterns. And when a model hallucinates, when it spouts that fluent but totally ungrounded nonsense, that's just an unbaited cast.
That's it, exactly. It's the maximum likelihood prior, the most generic fish you'd catch, just by casting a bear hook into the ocean.
So reliable intelligence isn't just about pulling up the most likely thing.
No, it's about baiting the hook with a specific intent and then using a net to filter the results against your constraints. The coordination layer is what calculates how much effort you need to pull the model away from that generic answer toward a specific verifiable goal.
Okay, but hang on. If real reasoning needs that strong external anchoring, doesn't that sort of prove the critic's point? That the LLM substrate itself is inherently flawed for AGI?
Not necessarily, because the source here formalizes this shift to reliable reasoning, not as some gradual improvement, but as a sharp thresholded event. They call it a phase transition.
A phase transition, like water turning to ice.
Precisely. And it's modeled by something called the Unified Contextual Control Theory, or UCCT.
So tell us about that. How does this UCCT govern that shift from just, hallucinating to actually having stable, goal-directed control?
Well, the theory says the whole system flips when its anchoring strength score crosses a certain critical threshold.
Anchoring strength. And what goes into that score?
It's basically three things working together. First, you need high effective support. Think of that as how good your bait is, how strongly your query pulls the right concept out of that ocean of patterns.
And what's pushing against that? The filter you mentioned.
Exactly. That's the representational mismatch. It's like the noise or instability in the context. You could think of it as the size of the mesh in your net filtering out things that don't fit. When the fit is good, the mismatch is low.
Okay, bait and net. And there's a third factor, something about efficiency.
Yes, the adaptive regularizer.
Hmm.
It's there to penalize using too much context or having too big of a bait budget. Real intelligence has to be efficient.
So when the bait is strong, the net is right, and the budget is optimized.
The anchoring score crosses that threshold, and you flip into stable, grounded reasoning.
This sounds an awful lot like human cognition. Our fast, unconscious System 1, the ocean, being regulated by our conscious System 2 control, the net and bait.
It's a perfect parallel, and their 4-year-old's cat example really brings it home.
Let's hear it.
So a child already has this huge pattern repository for animal features, fur, ears, tails. That's massive effective support.
Right, the ocean is already stocked.
Then a small anchoring event happens. An adult points and says, that's a cat, maybe shows a few pictures. That's a tiny budget.
And that small intervention recruits that whole vast pre-existing structure.
Instantly. Because the features of a cat align so well with what's already there, the mismatch is incredibly low. The anchoring score shoots past the threshold, and boom, the child now has a stable concept of cat.
But if you showed them, say, a pangolin, it would be much harder.
Much harder. The mismatch is way higher. It would take a much bigger budget, more context to make that jump.
So if that's the theory, how do you actually build a system that manages this? The source proposes a blueprint, right? Multi-agent collaborative intelligence, or MACI.
Yes, this is the missing coordination stack. It's how you turn raw pattern capacity into something verifiable. It starts with behavior modulation.
What's that?
You have agents in the system debating, but how strongly they hold their stance is tied to how well their arguments are anchored in evidence. If the evidence is strong, they yield. If it's weak, they keep exploring.
So the system's confidence is literally proportional to its grounding.
Then you need Socratic judging. There's a specific module for this that acts as a judge, filtering out poorly formed or ungrounded arguments before they can mess up the system's shared understanding.
And the last piece.
Persistent memory. A real transactional memory that tracks what was said and why, so the system can revise its reasoning and recover from errors.
So the big takeaway here really isn't that LLMs are doomed. It's that the failures we see, the hallucinations, the inconsistencies, they're mostly just coordination failures. The system is just operating below that critical anchoring threshold.
Right. The debate shouldn't be about whether the substrate is good enough. It's an engineering problem. The priority isn't just making the ocean bigger. It's about building better fishing gear.
Better state, better verification, better coordination.
All of it.
So we'll leave you with a final thought on that. If we can successfully build that coordination layer, if we can securely bind this incredible pattern substrate to external reality, is that all it takes for AGI? Or is there still something else missing, beyond verification and metacognitive monitoring, something to think about?